In the boundless, sun-baked expanse of the African savanna, where the horizon blurs into a shimmering mirage, the first rays of dawn ignite a world teeming with anticipation. Deep within the Amazon's emerald labyrinth, where humidity clings to every surface, and the air is thick with the scent of earth and life, existence pulses in a perpetual state of awakening. These are not simply backdrops, but colossal theatres, each a living, breathing entity, where the drama of survival is enacted with unyielding intensity and grace. With every sunrise, a silent curtain rises on a new act. Predators stir, prey, steel themselves, and the ancient cycle of pursuit and evasion resumes beneath the ever-watchful sky. The very air vibrates with a raw, electric tension, an invisible thread binding hunter and hunted in a relentless contest of wits and instinct. Here the law is absolute. Adapt with cunning or vanish. Stand your ground or vanish into the jaws of fate. For mercy is a luxury unknown to these wild dominions. Beauty and brutality coexist in a delicate equilibrium, each moment a fleeting masterpiece, each life a fragile thread in the tapestry of existence. The savanna stretches endlessly, its golden grasses whispering secrets to the wind, punctuated by stoic acacias and the silent monuments of termite mounds, each feature a testament to survival's ingenuity. This land is sculpted by extremes. Seasons of abundance transform into parched desolation, and only the most resilient endure the pendulum's swing between feast and famine. Giants roam these plains, elephant herds led by wise matriarchs, their memories guiding them to hidden water and safety, their bonds forged in the crucible of hardship. Lion prides command the grasslands, their social hierarchies as intricate as any human dynasty, their reign maintained through unity, strategy, and raw power. The openness of the savanna is both sanctuary and snare. Nowhere offers true concealment, and every movement is scrutinized by countless eyes. Survival is a contest of speed and stamina. Herds rely on numbers and vigilance, while predators hone their bodies into living weapons, each adapted for a specific role in this grand contest. A single tremor in the grass may herald the explosive acceleration of a cheetah, the fastest land hunter, whose every muscle is tuned for the chase. In the dappled shade, leopards become phantoms, masters of stealth, their solitary existence defined by patience and precision. Vigilance is a way of life. Every creature, from the smallest meerkat to the tallest giraffe, is attuned to the subtlest cues, their senses sharpened by generations of peril. In stark contrast, the Amazon rainforest is a world of perpetual twilight, where sunlight is rationed by a cathedral of leaves and the ground is a mosaic of shadow and decay. Life here is layered. Each stratum, from the damp forest floor to the sunlit canopy, hosts its own community, each adapted to the unique challenges of vertical living. The air is saturated with sound, an invisible orchestra of calls, croaks, and trills, each note a signal in the dense, competitive tapestry of rainforest life. Insects reign supreme, their numbers staggering, their forms and functions as varied as the leaves themselves, each a vital cog in the ecosystem's machinery. Camouflage is an art perfected by necessity. Creatures vanish into bark, leaf, and shadow, their survival dependent on invisibility and deception. Competition is fierce, not only for food, but for territory, sunlight, and even the right to be heard above the cacophony of neighbors. Apex predators like the jaguar glide through the undergrowth, their movements a study in silent efficiency, their presence felt but rarely seen. Prey species have evolved extraordinary strategies. Some, like the sloth, embrace stillness, blending so completely with their surroundings that time itself seems to pass them by. Every organism, from the tiniest orchid bee to the towering kapok tree, occupies a niche carved by millennia of adaptation, each contributing to the rainforest's intricate web of interdependence. Though separated by continents and climate, these realms are shaped by the same elemental forces: water, sunlight, and the ceaseless march of time, each sculpting life in its own image. Both are arenas of relentless conflict and astonishing cooperation, alliances forged in necessity, rivalries born of scarcity, every interaction a negotiation for survival. The inhabitants are not mere survivors, but innovators, tool users, strategists, and architects of their own destinies, their behaviors refined by the relentless pressure of evolution. A zebra's explosive kick, a wildebeest's stampede, or an impala's synchronized leap, each is a calculated response, a living testament to the ingenuity of prey. Predators, too, are sculpted by their environment. Jaguars, harpy eagles, and caimans, each wielding unique tactics, their mastery honed by countless generations. Every encounter, every chase, every narrow escape is a chapter in the ongoing epic of survival, a narrative written in dust, blood, and the silent language of instinct. To truly understand these kingdoms, one must look beyond the obvious, beyond the chase and the kill, to the subtle strategies, alliances, and social bonds that underpin every life. It is in these intricate relationships, families led by matriarchs, coalitions of hunters, troops of primates, that the true genius of wild existence is revealed. A world where survival is not just a solitary struggle, but a symphony of connection, adaptation, and resilience. Across the world's wildest frontiers, predators have evolved into consummate specialists, each species refining its hunting arsenal through millennia of adaptation. Every movement, every tactic is a product of relentless natural selection, an intricate dance of survival and predation. In the African savanna, the lion's dominance is rooted in social intelligence and tactical cooperation. The pride operates as a cohesive unit, each member playing a distinct role in the hunt. Lionesses, the pride's primary hunters, communicate through subtle cues, tail flicks, ear twitches, synchronizing their approach to remain undetected by prey. They execute a pincer movement, fanning out to encircle formidable targets such as Cape buffalo or wildebeest. The coordinated assault creates confusion, isolating the weakest or most vulnerable individual. The final charge is a calculated burst of force, with each lioness targeting specific points to bring down prey efficiently, minimizing risk and maximizing success for the pride. The cheetah, in stark contrast, is a solitary tactician. Its entire physiology is engineered for acceleration: lightweight frame, elongated limbs, and a flexible spine. During the chase, semi-retractable claws provide traction, while a long tail acts as a rudder, allowing split-second directional changes at speeds exceeding 70 miles per hour. The cheetah's pursuit is a test of reflexes and stamina, with prey employing erratic sprints and sharp turns to evade capture. The hunt begins with meticulous stalking, the cheetah's spotted coat blending seamlessly into the grass, reducing its visibility until the critical moment. Once within striking distance, the cheetah unleashes a rapid acceleration, committing to a high-risk, high-reward sprint that must end in seconds. Failure means immediate exhaustion, leaving the cheetah vulnerable to larger predators and unable to defend its hard-won meal. In the dense Amazon rainforest, the jaguar is a solitary apex predator, thriving in the interplay of shadow and water. Its hunting grounds span flooded forests and tangled undergrowth. Heavier and more robust than its relatives, the jaguar relies on stealth and brute strength, often ambushing prey from close range. Its bite is the most powerful among big cats, capable of puncturing armored reptilian hides and crushing turtle shells with ease. Jaguars are adept swimmers and climbers, exploiting every dimension of their environment to ambush prey from riverbanks to treetop perches. Their signature kill, a precise bite through the skull, ensures a swift end, minimizing struggle and risk of injury. African wild dogs exemplify cooperative hunting, using relentless stamina and intricate vocalizations to coordinate high-speed pursuits, often achieving the highest success rates among large predators. Hyenas, with their formidable jaws and social intelligence, alternate between strategic pack hunts and opportunistic scavenging, frequently outmaneuvering larger predators for access to food. In South America's waterways, giant otters form tightly bonded family groups, executing coordinated underwater ambushes to capture fish and even challenge caimans. Elsewhere, leopards and snow leopards rely on stealth and vertical advantage, ambushing prey from above and securing kills in inaccessible terrain to avoid competition. Each predator's mastery is a vital thread in the ecosystem's fabric, regulating prey populations, shaping animal behavior, and maintaining the delicate balance that defines the wild. In the wild, every creature is locked in a relentless contest of adaptation and ingenuity. For every predator, there is prey, each equipped with a unique set of survival strategies honed by millennia of evolution. Prey animals across continents have developed an astonishing array of defenses, ranging from acute senses and cryptic coloration to complex social behaviors and rapid escape tactics. Survival is a matter of constant vigilance, physical prowess, and the ability to exploit every advantage, whether it's speed, agility, or the element of surprise. The Cape buffalo, for example, is a formidable opponent. Weighing over a ton and armed with massive curved horns, it stands its ground with unwavering resolve. But its greatest asset is collective defense. When threatened, buffalo and other herd animals unite, forming impenetrable barriers or launching coordinated counterattacks. This unity often overwhelms even the most determined predators, turning the tide in favor of the prey. Zebras and their kin rely on a blend of endurance, powerful kicks, and dazzling visual confusion to evade capture. The zebra's iconic stripes create a mesmerizing effect when the herd moves, making it nearly impossible for a predator to isolate a single target amid the swirling patterns. If cornered, zebras and antelope deploy their most potent weapons, devastating kicks or agile leaps, capable of injuring or deterring even the fiercest hunters. Their stamina and ability to maintain high speeds over long distances often outlast the short bursts of their pursuers, tipping the balance towards survival. Defensive formations, whether a circle of horns or a wall of bodies, demonstrate the power of unity and strategic positioning in the wild. In the rainforest, survival often means vanishing from sight. The sloth, along with countless masters of camouflage, relies on stillness and disguise to avoid detection. By moving slowly and blending seamlessly with their environment, these animals evade predators that hunt by sight or movement, such as harpy eagles and jaguars. Some, like the sloth, even cultivate symbiotic relationships with algae or moss, enhancing their camouflage and further reducing their chances of being spotted. With slow metabolisms and minimal movement, these creatures conserve energy and remain hidden, thriving in a world where stealth is often the best defense. Height and vantage are powerful tools. The giraffe and other tall herbivores use their elevated perspective to scan for danger and access food beyond the reach of competitors. With heads held high, giraffes act as sentinels, alerting not only their own kind but also other species to the presence of predators. This mutual vigilance creates a network of early warning systems, increasing the survival odds for all members of the community. When threatened, even the most placid giants can unleash formidable defenses. Giraffes deliver lethal kicks, ostriches strike with powerful legs, and antelope wield sharp horns. Even apex predators must weigh the risks, often abandoning hunts when faced with healthy, well-defended prey. In the wild, survival is a dynamic interplay of offense, defense, and adaptation, each species a testament to the endless ingenuity of life. Across the wild expanses of the savanna and the dense, layered canopies of the rainforest, survival is rarely a solitary endeavor. Here, the concept of collective intelligence emerges as a powerful evolutionary force, shaping the destinies of countless species. Animals have developed intricate social systems where cooperation extends far beyond mere proximity. These systems are built on layers of communication, division of labor, and mutual support, each member contributing to the resilience of the group. In these societies, roles are often specialized. Elephants, for example, rely on matriarchs to guide herds to water during droughts, while meerkats post sentinels to warn of aerial or terrestrial threats. Insect colonies, such as those of ants and termites, display astonishing feats of engineering and logistics, constructing elaborate nests and foraging networks through seamless cooperation. Among primates, collective intelligence is especially pronounced. Baboons, with their complex hierarchies and nuanced vocalizations, exemplify the sophistication of social living. Alarm calls are finely tuned to distinguish between threats, one for a stalking leopard, another for a circling eagle, enabling the troop to mount a coordinated response. Dominant males form defensive lines, baring their teeth and advancing as a unit, deterring even formidable predators. This unity is not limited to defense. Social grooming strengthens bonds, reduces tension, and reinforces the intricate web of relationships that underpins troop stability. The phenomenon of collective movement is vividly illustrated by the great migrations of wildebeest and zebra. These herds, numbering in the thousands, move as a single undulating mass across perilous landscapes. Their synchronized motion confuses predators, making it nearly impossible to isolate a single target. The weak and vulnerable may fall, but the majority benefit from the safety of the crowd, a living shield forged by instinctual cooperation. Even in moments of crisis, such as river crossings, the herd's collective momentum propels them forward, overcoming obstacles that would be insurmountable for individuals. Predators, too, harness the power of teamwork. Lionesses execute complex hunting strategies, flanking and ambushing prey with silent precision. African wild dogs, renowned for their endurance and coordination, communicate through high-pitched calls, orchestrating relentless chases that exhaust their quarry. In the flooded forests of the Amazon, giant otter families hunt in synchrony, corralling fish with remarkable efficiency. Beyond the African continent, collective intelligence manifests in myriad forms. Dolphins and orcas employ coordinated tactics to herd fish or dislodge prey from ice floes. Honeybees communicate the location of nectar sources through intricate dances, while swarming en masse to repel intruders. Insects, birds, and mammals alike demonstrate that the sum of many can far exceed the capabilities of the individual. Army ants form living bridges and rafts, overwhelming prey and traversing obstacles as a single organism. Migratory birds fly in formation, reducing wind resistance and conserving energy for the entire flock. These diverse examples reveal a universal truth. Collective intelligence and teamwork are not mere survival tactics, but fundamental strategies woven into the fabric of life itself. Through cooperation, communication, and shared purpose, wild creatures transform the challenges of their world into opportunities for resilience and success. Across the wildest corners of our planet, life is orchestrated by the relentless pulse of the seasons. This ancient rhythm, etched into the very fabric of the land, governs every living thing, determining when food is abundant, when water is scarce, and when survival hangs in the balance. The cycle of feast and famine is not merely a backdrop, but the very engine of evolution and adaptation. In the African savanna, the year is sharply divided between the life-giving rains and the punishing dry months. Each season brings its own challenges and opportunities, shaping the destinies of every creature that calls this place home. With the first rains, the landscape is reborn. Dormant seeds burst to life, insects emerge in swarms, and the air fills with the calls of returning birds. The savanna becomes a tapestry of color and movement, a brief window of abundance. This season of plenty triggers a surge of new life. Herds synchronize births to coincide with the peak of resources, ensuring their young have the best chance of survival. Predators, too, benefit from the abundance, as prey is plentiful and vulnerable. Every niche is filled, every opportunity seized. From the apex predators to the smallest insects, each species plays a role in this intricate web of life, capitalizing on the fleeting bounty. But as the rains fade, the savanna is transformed once more. The grass withers, waterholes evaporate, and the land is gripped by drought. The feast gives way to famine, and the struggle for survival intensifies. Animals must travel ever greater distances in search of food and water. Some dig for hidden moisture, others browse on tough, unpalatable plants. The weak and the young are most at risk, and every day is a test of endurance. Predators exploit the desperation of the dry season. Prey animals, weakened and forced to congregate at the last remaining water sources, become easy targets. The balance of power shifts, and the savanna becomes a stage for dramatic encounters. Even in death, nothing is wasted. Scavengers and decomposers recycle every scrap, returning nutrients to the soil and preparing the land for the next cycle of renewal. The relentless search for sustenance drives one of nature's greatest spectacles, the Great Migration. Over 1 million wildebeest, joined by zebras and gazelles, embark on a perilous journey across the Serengeti Mara ecosystem, following the rains in a never-ending quest for survival. River crossings are the ultimate test. Crocodiles, perfectly adapted to these seasonal feasts, lie in wait for the herds. For many, the crossing is a deadly gamble, but for the survivors, it is the gateway to renewed abundance. In the Amazon, the seasonal cycle is written in water. Torrential rains swell the rivers, flooding vast tracts of forest and transforming the landscape into a labyrinth of channels and submerged trees. The floodwaters create a new world beneath the canopy. Fish move into the submerged forest to feast on fruits and seeds, while aquatic predators patrol the labyrinth, taking advantage of the seasonal bounty. Land animals must adapt or perish. Jaguars and giant otters become expert swimmers hunting in the flooded forest. Sloths and monkeys retreat to the treetops, while reptiles and amphibians exploit the new aquatic environment. For many species, the flood is a time of opportunity. Birds nest above the water, mammals disperse to new territories, and insects thrive in the humid abundance. The flood connects isolated habitats, triggering breeding and dispersal on a grand scale. As the waters recede, the forest is renewed. Nutrient-rich silt fertilizes the land, plants burst into growth, and animals return to reclaim their territories. The cycle of feast and famine, of abundance and scarcity, begins anew, driving adaptation, resilience, and the endless dance of life in the wild. Across the world's wildest frontiers, the silent imprint of humanity is everywhere, etched into the land, the water, and the very air. These ancient kingdoms, once governed solely by the laws of nature, now face a relentless transformation, their balance upended by forces they cannot comprehend. The climate itself is shifting. Human-driven emissions have altered atmospheric patterns, causing unpredictable rainfall and prolonged dry spells that disrupt the delicate cycles of life. In sub-Saharan Africa, temperatures have soared at twice the global rate, intensifying heat waves and pushing ecosystems to their limits. Water, once abundant, now vanishes from the landscape. Rivers dwindle to trickles, and waterholes become battlegrounds for survival, as herds gather around shrinking lifelines. The loss of grasses and foliage leads to starvation and death, leaving behind silent evidence of a disrupted food chain. The timing of births and migrations, once synchronized with the rains, now falters. Vulnerable young are exposed to predators and harsh elements, their chances of survival diminished. In the Amazon, the world's largest rainforest, the effects are equally profound. The forest canopy, a fortress of biodiversity, now shows signs of strain. Erratic rainfall brings both devastating floods and severe droughts, overwhelming the forest's natural resilience and altering habitats for countless species. Deforestation carves deep wounds into the landscape. Where once there was endless green, now only fragments remain, isolated and vulnerable. The removal of trees exposes the soil, leading to erosion and the loss of vital nutrients, further weakening the forest's ability to recover. The Amazon's soils and vegetation store immense quantities of carbon, acting as a buffer against global warming. As these forests are fragmented, their capacity to absorb carbon is drastically reduced. Human expansion creates invisible barriers. Narrow corridors force animals into confined spaces, increasing competition and stress. Ancient migration routes are severed, forcing herds to navigate perilous detours or abandon traditional paths altogether. Animals find themselves trapped, unable to reach feeding grounds or water, their instincts thwarted by obstacles they cannot overcome. Fragmented habitats isolate populations, reducing genetic diversity and increasing the risk of inbreeding, disease, and local extinctions. The spectacle of mass migrations is diminished as fewer animals complete the journey and the intricate choreography of the wild is lost. The direct loss of wildlife is evident in the empty nests and silent forests, where the calls of vanished species once echoed. Iconic species bear the scars of relentless pressure. Elephants and rhinos, targeted for their tusks and horns, are left maimed and vulnerable, their social structures shattered. Predators, squeezed into ever smaller ranges, face dwindling prey and increased conflict with other carnivores, further destabilizing the ecosystem. The loss of experienced leaders, such as matriarch elephants, erases generations of knowledge, routes to water, safe passage, and survival strategies, leaving herds adrift in a changing world. The relentless advance of the human footprint is pushing countless species toward the edge, their presence fading from the wild, their future uncertain. Across the world's wildest frontiers, hope is quietly taking root. Despite relentless pressures, climate change, habitat loss and poaching, nature's resilience is being revealed in remarkable ways. In the heart of the savanna, new grasslands emerge after seasonal fires, nourishing herds and predators alike. In rainforests, rare tree seedlings push through the leaf litter, signaling the slow but steady return of lost diversity. In the Okavango Delta, seasonal floods breathe life into parched wetlands, triggering synchronized migrations of birds, antelope, and elephants. These natural cycles, undisturbed by human hands, are the foundation of recovery, each species playing a vital role in the intricate web of life. In the Amazon, untouched tracts of forest act as living reservoirs of genetic diversity. Here, jaguars silently patrol their territories and harpy eagles soar above the canopy, their presence a testament to the health of these ancient ecosystems. Technology is amplifying these natural processes. Camera traps capture elusive species returning to restored habitats, while satellite imagery reveals the slow healing of scarred landscapes. Drones monitor the regrowth of forests once devastated by fire, providing real-time data that guides future restoration. In the world's rivers, the return of keystone species like otters and beavers signals the restoration of entire aquatic systems. Their engineering, building dams, digging dens, creates habitats for countless other creatures, from amphibians to insects. On the open plains, the reintroduction of apex predators, wolves, cheetahs, and wild dogs, restores balance, controlling herbivore populations and allowing vegetation to recover. This cascade of effects, known as trophic rewilding, is transforming entire landscapes. Even in the harshest deserts, hope endures. After rare rains, dormant seeds burst into life, painting the sand with wildflowers. Desert-adapted elephants and oryx traverse vast distances, connecting isolated oases and dispersing seeds that will become the next generation of life. In the oceans, coral reefs once bleached by warming seas are showing signs of recovery. Hardy coral species are recolonizing damaged reefs, providing shelter for fish, crustaceans, and sea turtles. Seagrass meadows expand, stabilizing coastlines and absorbing carbon from the atmosphere. Each of these recoveries is unique, shaped by the rhythms of the wild and the resilience of life itself. The path to restoration is never linear. Setbacks are inevitable, but the evidence is clear. When given space and time, nature can heal. The wild is not merely surviving, it is adapting, evolving, and in many places thriving once more. These stories of hope are not just symbols. They are blueprints for a future where recovery is possible, and the savage kingdoms of our planet endure for generations to come. To truly understand the wild, we must recognize it as a living tapestry. Each creature, from the mightiest predator to the tiniest decomposer, is a vital thread woven into the fabric of life. The survival of the whole depends on the unique contributions of every species. Even the most unassuming organisms like mosses, lichens, and insects initiate the cycle of life by breaking down rock and organic matter, creating the fertile ground upon which entire ecosystems are built. Termites and earthworms are master engineers, tirelessly recycling nutrients and aerating the soil, ensuring that plants have the foundation they need to thrive. Herbivores, from towering giraffes to migrating wildebeest, shape the landscape through their feeding habits. By consuming vegetation at different heights and intensities, they prevent any one plant species from dominating, fostering biodiversity. Predators, whether they hunt in packs or alone, regulate prey populations and drive evolutionary adaptation. Their presence ensures that only the fittest survive, strengthening the genetic resilience of prey species. Decomposers and scavengers, such as dung beetles and carrion beetles, are nature's recyclers. They break down waste and dead matter, returning essential nutrients to the soil and preventing the buildup of disease. Some insects, like leafcutter ants and termites, are sophisticated farmers. They cultivate fungus gardens underground, which not only sustains their colonies but also enriches the soil for surrounding plant life. Seed dispersers, such as fruit bats and hornbills, are architects of renewal. By carrying seeds far from their origin, they enable forests to regenerate and expand, maintaining genetic diversity and ecosystem resilience. Pollinators, from bees and butterflies to specialized wasps, are the unseen force behind the reproduction of countless plant species. Their work sustains the very foundation of food webs across the wild. Symbiotic relationships abound. Army ants inadvertently provide meals for birds, while cleaner fish maintain the health of their aquatic hosts. These partnerships exemplify the intricate dependencies that bind the wild together. Specialized feeders like pangolins and chameleons keep insect populations in check, preventing outbreaks that could devastate plant communities. Ecosystem engineers, such as elephants and beavers, physically transform their surroundings. Their actions create new habitats, increase landscape diversity, and provide opportunities for countless other species to flourish. Mid-level predators, like monitor lizards and predatory fish, regulate populations of smaller animals, ensuring that no single group overwhelms the ecosystem. Beneath the surface, mycorrhizal fungi and soil microbes form vast networks, facilitating nutrient exchange and supporting plant health on a microscopic scale. In aquatic realms, creatures like sea urchins and parrotfish prevent algal overgrowth on coral reefs, while sea turtles regulate jellyfish populations, each playing a distinct role in sustaining underwater worlds. Every organism, from the apex predator to the smallest microbe, is a specialist in its own right. The loss of any one species weakens the entire system, threatening the stability of the wild. When even a single thread is lost, the consequences ripple outward, destabilizing the balance that countless generations have built. Protecting every creature in all its diversity is essential to the survival of the wild as a whole. Across the vast savanna and the shadowed depths of the rainforest, life pulses with an ancient, unyielding force. Every dawn, the wild awakens in a symphony of resilience, each organism, from the smallest insect to the mightiest predator, playing its part in a delicate, ever-evolving balance. Ingenious architects shape the land, termites build towering fortresses, while ants engineer vast networks beneath the forest floor, sustaining entire ecosystems. Trees stand as living monuments to endurance, baobabs weathering centuries of drought and flood, figs entwining their hosts in a relentless quest for sunlight. In the harshest seasons, oryx traverse parched plains in search of water, while red river hogs root through sodden earth, uncovering hidden sustenance. Young cheetahs master the art of the hunt beneath watchful eyes, as harpy eagles glide silently above, reigning supreme in the emerald heights. Wildebeest brave swollen rivers in epic migrations, while colobus monkeys leap fearlessly from limb to limb, defying gravity in the treetops. The clash of buffalo bulls stirs the savanna dust as rainforest frogs erupt in chorus, their voices echoing the promise of renewal. Stealth and patience define survival. Leopards melt into dappled shadows. Pangolins armor themselves against unseen threats. Lionesses guide their prides with unwavering resolve, while the elusive octopi slips silently through the twilight of the forest. Even in death, life persists. Vultures cleanse the land and dung beetles recycle nutrients, fueling the endless cycle. Flowers bloom in fleeting beauty. Baobab blossoms unfurl at dusk. Rainforest orchids lure pollinators with intricate designs. Rivers conceal ancient predators. Crocodiles vanish beneath the surface, while giant otters hunt in coordinated packs, shaping aquatic realms. Giraffes stretch for the highest leaves, adapting to scarcity as forest elephants carve hidden paths, dispersing seeds and shaping the land. Sable antelope stand vigilant at dusk, while crowned eagles survey their domain from lofty perches, guardians of their respective kingdoms. The elements themselves test every creature. Rain revives the parched, mist cloaks the forest in mystery, and all adapt or perish. Ingenuity flourishes. Honey badgers brave stings for honey. Chimpanzees wield tools to unlock hidden feasts. Precision hunters abound. Shoebills strike with lightning speed. Servals leap with uncanny accuracy, each adapted to their niche. After devastation, renewal follows. Saplings rise from ashes. Canopies knit themselves anew, the wild never yielding to despair. Alliances form in unexpected ways. Herds merge for safety. Flocks unite to exploit fleeting abundance, each interaction strengthening the whole. As darkness falls, new lives stir. Aardvarks dig for termites. Bush babies leap through moonlit branches. The wild never truly sleeps. Masters of concealment thrive. Pythons lie in wait beneath the earth. Mantises vanish against emerald leaves, each a marvel of adaptation. Defense takes many forms. Rain frogs swell to appear formidable. Porcupines brandish quills, each strategy honed by millennia. Life surges in numbers. Fish shimmer in synchronized movement. Locusts rise in clouds, their abundance both a blessing and a challenge. Roots and vines anchor and ascend, defying gravity and storm, their persistence a silent testament to the wild's tenacity. Rebirth is constant. Lizards soak in the sun's energy. Butterflies break free from cocoons. Each day a new beginning. Partnerships flourish. Oxpeckers tend to buffalo. Ferns thrive high above the forest floor, each relationship vital to survival. The wild endures the fury of storms. Rain cleanses, lightning ignites, and life adapts, ever resilient. Every birth is a triumph. Antelope calves rise on trembling legs. Cicadas shed their shells, each new life a victory over adversity. The landscape itself breathes. Grasses sway in the wind, leaves shimmer with rain, the wild spirit woven into every detail. In moments of calm, predators rest. Lions beneath acacias, jaguars on mossy limbs, their strength undiminished by peace. Night reveals hidden wonders. Baobabs stand sentinel under the stars. Fireflies illuminate the forest in silent celebration. Wisdom guides survival. Elephant matriarchs remember ancient paths. Tapirs navigate flooded forests, each step shaped by generations. Speed and agility are honed to perfection. Cheetahs unleash explosive bursts. Squirrels glide on air currents, each movement a marvel of evolution. Seeds disperse and germinate, ensuring the next generation. Baobab fruit bursts open. Fig seeds take root in fertile ground. The wild spirit endures through every trial. Herds gather beneath thunderclouds. Birds greet the sun in jubilant chorus. Adaptation is endless. Chameleons shift hues to vanish. Geckos merge with stone, each survival strategy unique and precise. Renewal is relentless. Leaves unfurl after drought. Canopies close over fallen giants. the wild cycle unbroken. The voices of the wild resound. Lions proclaim their dominion, howler monkeys announce the day, each call a declaration of life's persistence. Here, at the meeting of grassland and forest, the enduring spirit of the wild stands unbroken, an epic testament to nature's power, beauty, and eternal will to survive. In the wild, survival is an intricate ballet, a perpetual interplay between hunter and hunted, where every movement shapes the fate of both. Across the golden plains, a solitary cheetah stalks a herd of impalas, her muscles coiled with anticipation, each footfall calculated to remain unseen. Impalas, tuned to the faintest rustle, lift their heads in unison, ears flicking, nostrils flaring as they read the invisible language of alarm. Beneath the forest canopy, a clouded leopard glides along mossy branches, its dappled coat dissolving into the shadows. Below, a troop of macaques moves in coordinated vigilance, sentinels posted at the edges, warning the group with a single sharp call at the first hint of danger. In the tangled undergrowth, a praying mantis sways in perfect mimicry of a leaf, lying in wait for an unsuspecting katydid, while above, a hornbill watches for the slightest motion betraying a hidden meal. On the river's edge, crocodiles drift like fallen logs, their eyes just breaking the surface. Wary antelope approach in tight clusters, hesitant yet driven by thirst. The momentary lapse, a hoof slips in the mud, triggers a burst of primal energy as jaws snap shut in a spray of water and silt, the outcome uncertain until the ripples settle. In the high grass, African wild dogs orchestrate a relentless pursuit, their unity turning chaos into strategy. Prey zigzags, leaping and twisting in desperate evasion, while the pack adapts mid-chase, outflanking and exhausting their quarry. Each encounter is a test of wit and endurance, a gazelle's erratic sprint, a zebra's defensive kick, a buffalo's sudden charge. Nightfall brings a new cast to the stage. Owls glide in silent arcs, talons poised as rodents scurry beneath the leaf litter, relying on memory and instinct to elude capture. Bats snatch moths from the air in an aerial contest of agility and echolocation. Even the smallest predators, spiders weaving invisible webs, wait patiently for vibrations signaling the arrival of prey. Yet, rarely is the outcome certain. The hunted evolve alongside their pursuers, developing speed, camouflage, warning colors, and intricate defensive formations. Schools of fish flash in synchronized turns, dazzling would-be attackers. Frogs inflate to appear unpalatable. Porcupines bristle, their quills a formidable deterrent. This eternal contest is not cruelty, but necessity. Each role vital, each adaptation honed over millennia. Predator and prey are bound in a dynamic equilibrium, their fates interlocked in the wild's unending story. Here, every encounter is a lesson in vigilance, innovation, and the raw artistry of survival. Across the farthest reaches of our planet, wild animals have become masters of adaptation, evolving ingenious mechanisms to survive in the harshest environments imaginable. In the blistering heat of the Sahara, the fennec fox emerges only at night, its oversized ears radiating excess body heat and catching the faintest footsteps of prey beneath the sand. Its pale fur reflects sunlight, while thick fur on the soles of its feet insulates against scorching sand. In the frozen expanse of the Arctic, the polar bear's dense undercoat and hollow guard hairs trap warmth, while black skin beneath absorbs the sun's weak rays. Its massive paws distribute weight across thin ice, and a keen sense of smell detects seals hidden miles away beneath snow and ice. On the jagged cliffs of the Andes, the Andean condor soars on thermal updrafts, conserving energy as it searches vast stretches for carrion. Its powerful lungs extract oxygen from thin air, and its wings, among the largest in the avian world, catch even the faintest breeze. Beneath the ocean's crushing depths, the giant squid's body withstands immense pressure, its flexible form and ammonia-rich tissues preventing collapse. Photophores along its mantle pulse with bioluminescence, luring prey and confusing predators in the absolute darkness. In parched deserts, the thorny devil lizard channels rare raindrops along grooves in its skin directly to its mouth, while the kangaroo rat survives without ever drinking water, extracting every drop it needs from dry seeds and producing highly concentrated urine to minimize loss. High in the Himalayas, the snow leopard's wide fur-padded paws act as natural snowshoes, and its thick tail wraps around its body for warmth during icy nights. Specialized nasal passages warm frigid air before it enters the lungs, allowing efficient breathing at altitude. In acidic swamps, the mangrove killifish breathes through its skin and even survives out of water, wriggling into rotting logs during drought. Meanwhile, the waxy monkey frog secretes a protective coating to prevent dehydration under the relentless Amazon sun. Each adaptation is a testament to nature's relentless ingenuity, a constant silent arms race against the elements. Whether camouflaged against the snow, armored against drought, or engineered for the abyss, these creatures are living blueprints of survival, thriving where life seems impossible. Far from the reach of human voices, the wild is alive with a symphony of communication, each species wielding a unique language honed by necessity and evolution. In the dense rainforest, howler monkeys unleash resonant roars at dawn, their enlarged hyoid bones amplifying calls that travel for miles, staking territory and uniting family groups lost amidst the tangled canopy. Beneath the forest floor, leafcutter ants tap out vibrational signals along fungal highways, each rhythm a message, warnings of danger, or the discovery of a nourishing leaf. Across the savanna, elephants rumble in frequencies too low for human ears. These infrasonic calls ripple through the ground, traveling vast distances to reach distant herds, summoning allies, signaling the presence of water, or mourning the passing of kin. In the twilight, fireflies synchronize their flashes, each species crafting a distinct pattern to attract mates and avoid confusion, a silent Morse code written in light. Underwater, dolphins spin complex whistles and clicks, each individual possessing a signature sound, a name, recognized by pod members across the shifting tides. Coral reef fish, like the damselfish, use rapid fin flicks and body posture as visual cues, guarding territory or signaling submission without a single sound. Wolves, masters of teamwork, combine howls, whines, and body language to coordinate hunts and reinforce social bonds. A raised tail, flattened ears, or a play bow, each gesture speaks volumes within the pack. Even the unassuming prairie dog constructs a sophisticated vocabulary of alarm calls, encoding details about approaching predators, their size, speed, and even species. In the silence of the Arctic night, snowy owls communicate through a blend of guttural hoots and dramatic wing claps, signaling territory and courtship across the frozen expanse. Meanwhile, cuttlefish, masters of disguise, shift the color and texture of their skin in real time, broadcasting mood and intent in a fluid visual dialogue. These intricate languages, spoken, sung, flashed, or felt, are the lifeblood of the wild. They shape alliances, avert danger, and weave together the invisible threads of complex societies, proving that even without words, the world is never truly silent. Across the untamed realms of the planet, weather and climate act as invisible architects, sculpting the very fabric of wild ecosystems. In the African savanna, the rhythm of life pulses in harmony with the seasonal rains. As towering cumulonimbus clouds gather, the first drops awaken dormant seeds, carpeting the plains in emerald green and summoning herds of grazers to feast. Rivers swell, carving new channels, and the abundance of water sparks a brief, frenzied bloom of insects, birds, and predators. High in the Andes, sudden temperature shifts drive the formation of mist-laden cloud forests. Here, moisture-laden winds condense on moss-covered branches, nourishing orchids and bromeliads that cradle pools of rainwater, microhabitats for frogs and insects. In the Arctic, The relentless cycle of freeze and thaw shapes the migration of caribou and the hunting strategies of Arctic foxes. A late spring melt can mean the difference between survival and starvation, as access to food and shelter is dictated by the ice. Monsoon winds weave through Southeast Asian jungles, dictating not only the flow of rivers, but the timing of reproduction for countless species. Amphibians synchronize their calls with the first heavy rains, while fish spawn in floodplains newly connected by swollen waterways. In the deserts, rare downpours trigger explosive blooms, a fleeting spectacle where flowers, beetles, and reptiles appear in perfect synchrony before the land returns to silence and sand. Hurricanes and cyclones, though destructive, reset coastal landscapes, tearing down old growth and depositing nutrient-rich debris. Mangroves and coral reefs, adapted to withstand these tempests, act as living barriers, protecting inland habitats and providing sanctuary for juvenile fish and crustaceans in the swirling aftermath. From the gentle caress of morning fog to the fury of a lightning storm, weather is the pulse that animates the wild. Climate, in its long cycles, crafts the boundaries of forests, grasslands, and deserts, determining who survives, who thrives, and who must adapt or vanish. In every gust of wind and drop of rain, the wild is shaped anew, its inhabitants forever attuned to the shifting moods of the sky. As the sun dips below the horizon, a transformation stirs the wild. The world is not silenced by darkness, it awakens anew. In the velvet shadows of the rainforest, the air thickens with the chorus of unseen lives. Leaf litter rustles as a pangolin unfurls, its armored scales glinting faintly in the moonlight. Above, spectral tarsiers, eyes wide as coins, leap between branches, their movements measured and silent as they hunt for insects, drawn to the faint glow of bioluminescent fungi. Out on the African plains, the daytime monarchs retreat, and the realm of the nocturnal begins. Lions, usually dormant in the heat, stir to life, their golden eyes reflecting starlight as they move in coordinated silence. Aardvarks emerge from burrows, their snouts probing for termites amid the cool earth. In the grasses, nightjars and owls drift on silent wings, their feathers adapted to muffle every beat as they track the faintest scurrying of rodents. Desert nights bring a chill and a hidden bustle. Velvet geckos prowl rocky outcrops, their padded toes clinging to sheer stone as they stalk moths fluttering near blooming cacti. Beneath the sand, sidewinder snakes sense vibrations, rising to the surface only when the air cools enough to hunt. In the dense undergrowth of temperate forests, the rustle of leaves betrays the passage of hedgehogs, foxes, and badgers. The glow of fireflies pulses softly, signaling across the darkness to attract mates or warn off rivals. Meanwhile, bats, masters of the unseen, fill the night sky, weaving intricate aerial patterns as they echolocate swarms of midges invisible to all but themselves. Hidden in wetlands, amphibians become the night's musicians. The calls of frogs and toads ripple across still water, each species' voice distinct, filling the night with a living symphony. Predatory fishing cats stalk the shallows, eyes locked on the faintest ripple betraying a careless fish. Even the ocean is transformed as darkness falls. Lanternfish ascend from the depths in glittering shoals, while octopuses glide over coral, their skin shifting in color and texture to blend with moonlit sand. In every corner of the wild, darkness is not a void, but a stage for a parallel existence, one shaped by heightened senses, silent movement, and the perpetual dance between predator and prey. Here every creature is both hidden and revealed by the night, navigating a world sculpted by shadows, sound, and instinct. As dawn approaches, these nocturnal actors retreat, leaving only subtle traces, a paw print in the dew, a feather in the grass, a ripple on the pond's surface, evidence of the vivid life that thrives while the world sleeps. Beneath the surface beauty of the wild lies a delicate web, an intricate tapestry woven from countless threads of interdependence between plants and animals. Every habitat from lush rainforests to arid grasslands, thrives on these unseen connections. In the heart of the Amazon, towering kapok trees stretch skyward, their branches hosting colonies of epiphytic orchids, bromeliads, and mosses. Sloths, camouflaged among the leaves, feed on this verdant bounty, while their slow movements allow algae to grow on their fur, providing nourishment for moths and camouflage for the sloth itself. When sloths descend to the forest floor, they fertilize the soil, enriching it for the very plants that shelter them. Across the savanna, acacia trees stand sentinel, their canopies shaped by armies of ants living within swollen thorns. These ants fiercely defend their arboreal homes from hungry herbivores, attacking anything that dares to nibble the leaves. In return, the tree provides nectar and shelter, a mutual pact that ensures survival for both. In temperate woodlands, a single oak tree is a bustling metropolis. Its branches cradle nesting birds, its bark harbors insects, and its roots form alliances with mycorrhizal fungi, exchanging sugars for vital minerals. Squirrels cache acorns, some forgotten and left to sprout, ensuring the next generation of oaks. On the African plains, wildebeest herds graze grasses short, stimulating new nutrient-rich growth. Dung beetles follow, recycling waste into the earth, nourishing the soil for future grass. The cycle is continuous. Plants depend on animals for pollination, seed dispersal, and fertilization, while animals rely on plants for food, shelter, and oxygen. Even in the harsh tundra, caribou shape the landscape, grazing on lichens and mosses. Their hooves churn the permafrost, aerating soil and allowing hardy wildflowers to take root. In return, seasonal blooms attract pollinators and sustain the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Within every wild habitat, the fate of flora and fauna is entwined. A hummingbird's slender beak matches the deep throat of a particular flower, ensuring both nectar for the bird and pollination for the plant. Fruit bats disperse seeds far from the parent tree, giving rise to new groves. Predators, by keeping herbivore populations in check, prevent overgrazing and allow forests and grasslands to flourish. This intricate network, refined over millennia, is a testament to nature's balance. Disrupt one thread, and the entire system trembles. Yet, when in harmony, this web of life supports a breathtaking diversity, each organism playing a vital role in the survival of all others. In the wild, no creature or plant exists in isolation. Life flourishes not in solitude, but in the myriad connections that bind all living things together. In the untamed wilds, nature's harmony is often shattered by forces beyond any creature's control. Earthquakes, wildfires, hurricanes, and floods. These natural disasters strike with little warning, reshaping landscapes and testing the limits of survival. When the earth trembles, ancient forests can be split apart in seconds. Trees topple, burrows collapse, and the ground itself becomes a shifting maze. Yet from the chaos, life adapts. Burrowing animals like moles and foxes sense subtle vibrations, retreating deeper into the earth, while birds take to the sky seeking refuge from falling debris. Wildfires, sparked by lightning or drought, sweep across grasslands and woodlands, engulfing all in their path. Flames consume dry brush and fallen leaves, but for many species, fire is a cycle of renewal. Fire-adapted plants like the lodgepole pine release seeds only in intense heat, ensuring regeneration after the inferno. Insects, such as fire beetles, are drawn to the charred remains, laying eggs in still warm bark. Large mammals, sensing danger, migrate ahead of the blaze, while smaller creatures burrow underground, protected by the insulating earth. Torrential rains transform tranquil rivers into raging floods. Water surges across floodplains, sweeping away nests and dens. Yet in the aftermath, nutrients deposited by receding waters spark an explosion of new growth. Fish, like salmon, seize the opportunity to spawn in freshly formed pools, while amphibians lay eggs in ephemeral ponds left behind. Even the smallest survivors, such as earthworms and insects, help aerate and fertilize the rejuvenated soil. Hurricanes and cyclones unleash destructive winds and pounding rain on coastal habitats, Mangrove forests, with their tangled roots, anchor shorelines and buffer the impact, providing shelter for crabs, fish, and birds riding out the storm. Afterward, these resilient trees regrow, their fallen leaves enriching the muddy tidal flats. Seabirds, displaced from their rookeries, travel vast distances to find new nesting grounds, guided by instinct and the promise of untouched land. In every disaster there are losses: ancient trees leveled, nests destroyed, populations decimated. But nature's resilience is profound. Seeds sprout in scorched earth. New growth emerges from flood-soaked plains, and animal populations rebound, adapting behaviors and migration patterns to the altered world. Predators and prey alike adjust, finding new niches in reshaped habitats. Each disaster rewrites the landscape, but it also unlocks hidden strengths within the wild. Species evolve to withstand fire, flood, and storm. Ecosystems shift, but life endures, rising again from the ashes and mud. In the relentless face of nature's fury, the wild is not defeated. It is transformed, proving that resilience is woven into the very fabric of life itself. In the endless contest for survival, not all creatures rely on speed or strength. Across the wild, evolution has crafted a stunning array of defensive mechanisms, each a testament to nature's ingenuity in the face of relentless predation. Consider the armadillo, whose flexible armor plates snap shut in a protective ball at the faintest hint of danger. This living fortress thwarts jaws and talons alike, buying precious time until the threat passes. Nearby, the porcupine bristles with thousands of quills, barbed, hollow spines that detach on contact, deterring attackers with painful precision. Even the slow-moving pangolin, covered in overlapping scales tougher than bone, curls into an impenetrable sphere, its soft underbelly hidden from view. Camouflage is another masterpiece of adaptation. The leaf-tailed gecko melts into mottled bark, invisible to the keenest eyes. Arctic hares shed brown coats for snow-white pelts, vanishing against winter tundra. Some tropical insects mimic twigs or leaves so convincingly that even patient predators pass them by. But defense is not always about hiding or armor. The skunk warns with bold stripes, nature's hazard sign, before releasing a noxious spray that lingers for days. The bombardier beetle unleashes boiling chemicals in rapid-fire bursts, its abdomen a living laboratory of chemical warfare. Poison dart frogs advertise their toxicity with vibrant colors, a warning to would-be diners that a single bite could prove fatal. Defensive behaviors have also evolved to outwit the most persistent hunters. Hognose snakes feign death, flipping belly up and emitting a foul scent, to convince predators they are already spoiled. Cuttlefish deploy clouds of ink, vanishing in a swirling shroud before predators can react. Herd animals, like musk oxen, form protective rings, horns outward, shielding calves from prowling wolves. Each adaptation is the result of countless generations, tiny mutations tested in the crucible of survival, accumulating into formidable defenses. From the microscopic spines of caterpillars to the armored hides of crocodiles, nature's arsenal is as varied as it is effective. In this arms race of evolution, every creature has its shield, some hidden, some boldly displayed. The wild is a gallery of innovation, where survival means not only avoiding the hunter's gaze but mastering the art of defense. Here, vulnerability is the seed from which resilience grows, and every adaptation tells a story written in the language of survival. As the seasons turn, a silent summons echoes across continents and oceans, a call that stirs millions to embark on journeys of staggering distance and peril. Migration is nature's greatest odyssey, a relentless pursuit of survival written into the instincts of countless species. Under the pale light of the Arctic spring, caribou herds surge across thawing tundra, their hooves pounding ancient trails etched by generations before them. Driven by the promise of fresh grazing grounds, they traverse rivers swollen with ice melt, braving frigid currents and prowling wolves that shadow their every step. Above, the sky itself becomes a thoroughfare. bar-tailed godwits launch from Alaskan shores, ascending into thin air for a non-stop flight to New Zealand, a voyage of over 7,000 miles without rest or food. Their wings slice through jet streams, navigating by celestial cues, magnetic fields, and a memory of landscapes they have never seen. In the open ocean, humpback whales sing haunting melodies as they glide from equatorial breeding grounds to polar feeding waters. Mothers shepherd calves through gauntlets of orcas and shifting currents, their migration a dance of endurance and devotion. On the African savanna, wildebeest stampede in numbers so vast they darken the plains, crossing crocodile-infested rivers and scorched earth in search of rain-fed pastures. Each crossing is a crucible. The strong surge ahead, the weak fall behind, and the hungry wait in ambush. But migration is not a simple journey from point A to B. It is a high-wire act of timing and tenacity. Monarch butterflies, delicate as stained glass, flutter thousands of miles from Canada to the Oyamel forests of Mexico, guided by internal compasses and the faintest shifts in temperature. Salmon, born in gravelly streams, return years later from the open sea, leaping upriver against the current to spawn and die where life began. Every mile is fraught with obstacles, dwindling habitats, shifting climates, and the invisible barriers of human progress. Fences slice through migration corridors, city lights lure birds off course, and warming seas alter the ancient cues that once heralded safe passage. Yet, through storms and starvation, predators and peril, the migrants press on. Their journeys bind ecosystems together, ferrying nutrients, seeds, and life itself across the wild. In the epic trials of migration, resilience is tested, and the unbroken thread of survival is woven anew each season. Nature's travelers remind us, to journey is to hope, and in every migration the wild reveals its enduring will to endure. In every ecosystem, there are a select few whose presence outweighs their numbers, a hidden architecture of life upheld by keystone species. These are the linchpins, the quiet orchestrators whose actions ripple outward, shaping entire communities in their wake. Remove them, and the delicate balance unravels. Beneath the emerald canopy of North America's forests, beavers craft their watery fortresses. With a single determined bite, they fell trees and redirect streams, flooding meadows to create ponds teeming with life. Amphibians lay eggs in these new wetlands, insects swarm, and fish find sanctuary. Birds and mammals gather at the water's edge, drawn by the abundance. The beaver's engineering transforms landscapes, turning trickling brooks into vibrant wetlands that store carbon, filter water, and buffer against drought. On the African savanna, the mighty elephant is both gardener and architect. With tusks and trunks, they uproot trees, clear thickets, and carve pathways through dense brush. Their browsing opens up grasslands, inviting herds of antelope and zebra to graze in the sunlight. Water holes dug by elephant feet become lifelines for countless creatures during the dry season. When elephants vanish, forests encroach, and the web of life tightens, stifling diversity. Beneath the waves, sea otters patrol the kelp forests of the Pacific. Their voracious appetite for sea urchins keeps these spiny grazers in check. When otters thrive, kelp flourishes, rising in underwater cathedrals that shelter fish, crustaceans, and seabirds. But when otters disappear, urchins multiply unchecked, raising kelp to barren rock and leaving a ghostly silence in their stead. In the grasslands, wolves return to Yellowstone, and the land itself changes. Their presence sends elk moving, preventing overgrazing along riverbanks. Willows and aspens rebound. Songbirds nest and beavers return, their dams knitting the landscape together. The wolf's howl is more than a call. It is a catalyst, sparking a chain reaction that breathes resilience back into the wild. Even the humble fig tree plays a keystone role in tropical forests. Its fruit ripens year-round, feeding monkeys, parrots, bats, and insects when little else is available. In the leanest seasons, the fig is a lifeline, sustaining the web of life until abundance returns. Keystone species are not always the largest or most visible, but their impact is profound. They are the architects, the regulators, and the guardians of diversity. Their presence maintains equilibrium, their loss unbalances the scales, often in ways unseen until it is too late. In the intricate tapestry of the wild, keystone species are the threads that hold all others in place. Their survival is not just a matter of individual fate, but of the health and harmony of entire worlds. As long as these pillars stand, the wild endures, resilient, balanced, and ever evolving.